We're so grateful for this leader who does an amazing job leading the city of Baker. He is none other than our very own mayor, Mayor Darnell Waites. Put your hands together as we welcome our mayor.
All right, still good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, for those of you, let me just put this out. For those of you who don't come to Baker on a regular basis, you can come to Baker when we get together and you can let your head down and be yourself. So let me say this again. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's what I'm talking about. Give yourselves a round of applause. So Happy New Year, everybody. It is a pleasure for me to be here. I just want to thank God for another opportunity to stand before you and represent the city of Baker. I want to thank all the people from the city of Baker, Dr. Machen, and all the people who put this presentation together. I want to thank the president of the Chamber of Commerce for allowing me to be the first in her Lunch and Learn. So look, we got a lot of information that we want to put out, but I want you to realize that all this is not done just by one person. This is done by a group of people. And everything that we do, we follow God on this. This is all about vision. This is all about vision and putting the work in. And we're not done yet. We're going to keep it moving forward. So right now, I just want to go ahead and dive into the presentation. We want to talk a little bit about the leadership of the city. And you guys, if I'm blanking, I just had eye surgery, so I'm just trying to learn how to walk and see again, okay? So you guys know who that is. I had a little black hair at that particular time. Next slide. And that's my council. So let me say a little bit about my council. They're here today. I want to ask them to stand real quick if they're in the room. I know we have some of them in the room. Ask them to stand. Let's give them a big round of applause. Let me tell you something, and I got to say this. Let me tell you something. You know, for years, you know, we were slowing it up. We were moving at a snail's pace, and then we got this council right here, and we picked it up a little bit. And it just shows it just shows you what God can do when you pray for a change. He gave me a change. He gave me people that I could work with, people that understand where we're going, and people with progressive minds. So let's give them a big round of applause for what they're doing to move us forward. Next slide, please. And here's my number two who puts all this together, Dr. Angela Machen, who never wanted to be the number two. And she'll tell you that, but she's done a fantastic job. She's taken over the everyday duties now of the daily grind that goes on as to running a city. Real loyal, just real loyal. But she will tell you what's on her mind. So, and she puts this together. She does all the writing. They do all the writing, and they just put it together for me. But I want to give her a big round of applause since she's here right there at the table, right here. Next slide. There's our police chief and our fire chief. They changed their picture. He had the hair up for the fire chief. And Big Chief is doing a great job. We still are one of the safest cities in Louisiana. Let's give them a big round of applause for that. Next slide, please. And here's Judge Kirk Williams, real quiet, but boy, don't go in front of him and you ain't right, okay? He's been around for a long, long time. And then we have Ms. Jana Rogers, who is our ad hoc prosecutor, because our other prosecutor is in the room, Ken Fark somewhere here. He retired. He's in the back there. Let's give him a big round of applause too. Next slide, please. And then this is the Public Works Director. He's probably one of the youngest Public Works Directors in the state of Louisiana. He's doing a great job. He still got that job. So let's give him a big round of applause. All right, let's move on. All right, and this is our communication team, okay? And we created a communications team because we wanted to make sure that the narrative about Baker came from Baker. We didn't want anybody else writing the narrative on us. We wanted to change how people saw us in this city. And we went out and got some of the best people we could to make sure that what you all see every day of the year is what's going on in Baker. Now, you know, people say, well, you always make it be good. That's the way it is when you control your narrative, okay? And so that's the way we're doing. And then we won an award for our technology and creativity and Ellie Mae. So these people, they do a great job here. Let's give them a big round of applause. And we got that community paper coming out too. Next slide. And here's the Chamber of Commerce president. We know Ms. Michelle Woods, who, and I say this all the time, that Michelle does not get paid a dime, but the way she works at the chamber makes me feel like I should be paying her. So that's why I buy her lunch every now and then. She does a great job. We have a great board. And those businesses that she has, they have there, they're on our board. Those are some of the biggest corporate businesses we have in Louisiana that sit on this little city in Baker, sit on our board. So let's give Miss Woods a big round of applause. I almost called her Elder Woods. And these are our community partners. I know we got some in the room. I saw the Magnolia Rose. She's going to be everywhere. If you're one of those community partners, please stand. Let's give you a big round of applause. We have a bunch of them here. DeAndre Claiborne, Stop the Violence. All right? And some of these are just real personal to me, like DeAndre Claiborne, Stop the Violence. His mama, Shayna, started that foundation back in 2015. DeAndre was a student of mine. I coached him in basketball. He was the kid, for you coaches in here, you always have the student that get in the front seat. He was the front seat rider. That means that when the kids came and we took him home, he always got the front seat. He was killed about 2 weeks before graduation in a shooting here in Baker, and his mama founded this foundation, and she has not let up yet. Let's give her a big round of applause. Magnolia Rose is doing a great job. This young lady came in and she's just doing an awesome job with autism. Everything that we do now from here on out, we have it available for kids with autism, kids, any kind of special needs we have there. Let's give her a big round of applause. And you can't get away from the Baker Rotary Club, the Pilot Club, and the Interact Club, and you just can't get away from that. The Butterfly Society is always against domestic violence. We're behind that 100%. And Elvin K. Howard, Pancreatic Cancer Advocacy Foundation, they've been huge. Give them a big round of applause. And then we have the Baton Rouge African American Museum, which is ran by Dr. Machin and started by her mom. So they do a lot, and I'm a historian. I know we have another one in here. Dr. Vincent is somewhere in here. He'll tell you that history, if you don't know your history, then you will start to let people repeat that history if you don't know it. All right, next slide. Okay, here's our education system. Geo Prep, K-8, Impact Charter, Advantage Charter. We got Helix, which is the Performing Arts Academy, which is the Park Ridge Achievement Academy in Baker High School. This story here is just crazy because everybody in this room who know me, anybody who know me know that for years I fought against charter schools coming to Baker. And then one morning I woke up and I had 4 of them. And so what happened was, you guys, that, I was praying for a change. I called my daughter, who's 41 years old. She's an educator in Warner Robins. And she said, Daddy, you need to let it go. She said, because what you got going is not working. And she said, you're doing everything else, but you're going to need some education over there to fix it. And I just let it go. And so here's the deal. They're here. We're going to make it work in this city. We have some great people in this city that's working these schools, and I know they're here. And so the goal for me is with those 4 K-8s that we run those K-8s, and those people, those kids that's going to school there, they come and live here. Okay, that's what we're looking for. And then they funnel those K-8s until our high school, because the high school still is. That is the high school for Baker. That's what keeps the legend going. That's what keeps it moving. And that's what keeps everybody coming back to this city. So if we got any of those people in these schools here today, go ahead and please stand. Let's give them a big round of applause. I know we got some principals here. There we go. All right, next slide. All right, so this is, talk about a little bit about the city real quick. People are always talking about my workforce, okay? But we do pay them well. They are competitive with what's going on in the rest of the parish, and you guys can take a look at this. And now this is a live presentation that we're doing. You can always go back to, I think, where we on? YouTube. You'll be on YouTube, and you can go back and take a look at it. But look at the numbers there, and we're working to raise the median wage here, the median wages that we have here. We're working to do that because of that 171 that work for the city of Baker, about half of them live in Baker. Okay, and that's what we want. That's old school, but that's what you want. You want the people who live here to work here because they're committed here, and that's what we're looking for. Next slide. Here's the population statistics. Number of households, about 4,000, and they have to tell me that people live in them houses, because that's like, man, that number don't match what I got over here, the number of people, but we got people, it's about 4,000, and then the utility customers that we have are about 5,000, and the commercial utility customers about 488. That medium household income is something that we work on all the time. Me and Angela talk about that because we want to raise that up. And the way you do that is that you give opportunities for these young people that come to move to this city, and you give them an opportunity and to be able to live in a safe place, go to work where they can make the kind of money that we're making. But if you look at it, with Louisiana, we're not that far behind on the state of Louisiana. I want you to think about that. On the state of Louisiana. Now, there are some cities that it's a little higher, but I don't want to get into that today. If you want to get into that with me, make an appointment, I'll sit down and we can do a 30-minute conversation on how to raise that up. Home ownership is about 69%, Baker, 68% for LA, and then you see the ages that's coming in. Next slide. All right, public safety and fire. You guys who keep up with me know that 50% of the budget that we have is for public safety. Me and I have my finance director here, Ms. Mary Sue Stages. She said, let's give her a big round of applause. 10 years ago, we set a plan on what we wanted. And so they don't always agree with me on this because that's half of the budget. That's half of it. But what I realize is that public safety is very, very important in communities like ours. And for 10 years now, we've been in the top 10, one of the safest cities in Louisiana. You can say what you want to say, but the numbers don't lie. And that deserves a big round of applause too. But they like toys, so we give them what they want so they can do what they need to do. And if you look at that, that's what we've done in probably the last 8 years or so. We've found that money to make sure they have what they need so they can do what they need to take care of some of the best people in East Baton Rouge Parish. Next slide. Let's talk about infrastructure and development, 2016. Now, let me take you back. Y'all with me? Y'all paying attention? We good? Y'all good? You're good? Raise your hand. Say you're good. Yeah. Okay, so those of you who don't know, in 2016, we took over in June and we had a flood in August. About 30 days, maybe 45 days later, 60% of the city was underwater. A lot of businesses, a lot of homes. And so I always say we came from the water. We did, literally from the water. All right, and so we started over. We had, somebody came to me and they said that FEMA wanted to have they wanted to do something different than they normally were doing. They wanted to put together a program where we could do a strategic plan. And I didn't want to fool with FEMA. I didn't want to fool with them. And those of you who dealt with FEMA before, you know why. You know that you didn't want to do that. So, but I decided to do it. So we came together as a city. They put together this plan on the things that they wanted. And some of y'all remember, how many of y'all remember that we came together and we built that and we had the forum and everybody came out for a couple of days, Dr. Vincent, you remember that, and they put together. So what we did is that we took that strategic, we took what they say they wanted, we formulated a strategic plan and we followed it to the T. We didn't follow it one by one, we followed it like in a row. We did everything together. Everything had to connect, and you'll see this in the next slide as I move through it. Okay, so you can look at the municipal gas improvements with the zoo on Highway 19, Levy Lane, and Trevento. Trevento is where they're building all those houses at on 964. About 1,000 houses for y'all educators out here, and we want them to go to our schools. But let's talk about the Baton Rouge Zoo. Now, how many of y'all remember us fighting for that zoo? Remember that? All on TV fighting for that zoo. But here's what we did. We took a gas line from 964, Dr. Vincent, and we ran that gas line all the way across Baker to make sure that we got the gas from the zoo and the park. So guess what? Everything that they run over there is going to be natural gas. And what that's gonna do for that utility system is gonna bring it up. That deserves a round of applause. The water system, we did water line upgrades on Highway 964. We've done water wells and generator. We got the recent upgrades. We got the West Side Tower, the West Side Subdivision gas and line expansion, sewer lift stations. That utility system that Baker has, there's only two people that have their own. It's us and Zachary. That is the horse. That's what keeps it running. That is the business side of the city of Baker. And so when we came in, we took a look at that. We say, we need to make sure that we keep that running. And we need to make sure that we can expand it outside of our boundaries and be able to get that business. So long after, because retail come and go. They'll come, they'll stay 10 years, it don't go right, and they'll leave. But that gas is there. They're gonna always have that gas. I guarantee you this morning, and they're gonna be calling me next week, but I guarantee you this morning somebody had that heat on because it's cold outside. Okay, so that utility is there, and it's there for a purpose. Next slide. Roads, major thoroughfares, Levy Lane. I heard somebody tell me that they had been living on Levy Lane for 40 years and there was never any work done on that. Do you know how hard it was to get that done? To get a road transfer. And you have to my mama used to tell me, if you want to know what's going on, you have to sit at the tables where they make decisions. And so people tell me, how do you sit on all these boards? Because they're making decisions about my city, so I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna sacrifice it to sit at the table. And sometimes when you sit at the table, you can run the table and be able to get what you wanna get like everybody else get. If you hear me, say, I hear you. All right, so I'm speaking truth now. So Levy Lane is almost done. It's a road transfer. They're going to transfer over to us. They did everything that we asked them to do. Broome Road with Move BR. I supported Sharon Weston Broome on that. She kept her promise even after they left. They came in there doing Groom. It hadn't been done in years. But I held Groom up because I wanted to make sure that Groom Road, we could figure out why it was flooding. And I just didn't want them to resurface a road without looking under it and find out what was going on. And I'm not saying that it's not gonna ever have water on it, but what I'm saying is we did what we needed to do to reduce the flooding, okay? And then Baker Boulevard, that was another that we did. And let me tell y'all something, those roads are beautiful, you know? And we've done over 70% of the roads in Baker since we started. I got my engineer in the back with PEC. We came in, I said, look, we need to start fixing streets. Every year we fix streets. Imagine what that finance director was saying when we started talking about that every year, because we had to come up with that $1 million plus every single year to make sure that we get these roads done. But when you ride down the roads now, they're pretty good. The problem is we fix the roads, now they think they're race cars coming down through there. Bicycle and pedestrian plan, we're gonna have bicycle shared places on all the main roads. Next slide. Drainage. Sunshine the Levee, Buffwood. So this was ARPA funds that came in. We got the ARPA funds. The first thing we did is start cleaning ditches. Now, let me tell you this real quick so we can keep it moving. All right, these were not ditches 30 years ago when they dug them. They're canals now, but they were just small ditches. Adams represent, you know what I'm saying, right? As that water started to run over the years, it opened up, like the one behind my house on Buffwood. But here's the deal. I wasn't here 40 years ago when they dug the ditches. And now they needed to be clean, so we had them all clean with that. The problem with that is once we had them clean, then the grass started to grow back. Now we got to go back and continue to fix them. But it's an issue. It's a good issue, though, because the water keeps running. Next slide. All right, so let's talk about that. So now, with the infrastructure, $18 million worth of work. Most of that were grants, okay? A lot of that was grants, probably about 70% of that was probably grants that we went out. And you can't get grants unless you have good audits. And we've had 9 straight good audits, 9 of them. All right, let's talk about LED. So we kept this one a little on the down low for a while, except for Parkwood Terrace, because Parkwood Terrace, they don't miss nothing over there. They always paying attention over there. So we've completed these conversions for LED lights. on these roads right here, and we got the areas in progress. But here's the deal. The citizens don't pay for the LED lights, you guys. We put them on the streets. The city takes that cost from them. You know why we put those lights in there? Because you can see better, it lights up the neighborhoods, and it makes it safer. Another move that the council say, let's go with it, we roll with it, we're gonna be safe, okay? Give them a big round of applause for that, so we move that. Next slide. All right, so the auditorium. The auditorium has some issues going on. So we put in a brand new generator because we are a Red Cross shelter. During the flood, we had people in the auditorium, but we were not a Red Cross shelter. So we went, got qualified, got certified, however you want to call it, to do that. We had to get a generator that we can put in there that could run all the time with all those computers and phones and all that could plug up, and the internet and all that stuff there. We got that. HVAC, we got a brand new HVAC. We painted it. We got brand new kitchen equipment. And right now we're going to work on the lighting. So when y'all out there dancing, you can turn the lights down a little bit. See, we do got some people in here that live in Baker. Y'all, okay. And then we're going to work on the ceiling. Community development. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park, we changed the name since we've been there. But that started on the council before me with the council that Councilmember Robert Young then was on, and we just came and we finished it. Let's give them a big round of applause. They started that. We changed the name there. We brought in the playground equipment, zip line, and all that stuff. The fitness court was there, and that's a big deal. We resurfaced the track. You know, we resurfaced that whole track now. We got people that's 70 years old walking on that track at 60 and 70 years old, and they're doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? They're walking on that track. We resurfaced that. We got lighting fixtures, upgrades, and then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna either buy a stage or rent a stage. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna build more barbecue picnic areas and benches, and we want a covered pavilion. We want a big covered pavilion, and we want to change the restrooms out, the bathrooms out. We want to change them out and make them bigger and nicer, bring them up to standards, okay? All right, so give yourselves a big round of applause for that. And so this is what used to be the Little League baseball field. So now when I tore that down, they was gonna run me out of town, y'all, I'm telling you. Because this area right here, this baseball field, for some reason, was something that brought everybody together. White, black, whatever it was, they talked about that baseball field. And when I went to Councilmember Dunn, she just had that look on her face like, can you fix this? Because they're gonna run me and you both out of town. But here's the deal. We got it done. We tore it down. We found some money somewhere, and then we decided, instead of doing it halfway, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a rug on it. We're gonna make it real nice for our kids. We're gonna change the name and call it the Baker Youth Baseball Field. And then, because our recreation department is so awesome, we're gonna be able to have kids going in. So now, the rain has slowed us down, but it's gonna be done. You'll see about that big ribbon cutting we have when we do this. This is gonna be huge for our kids. For all those people who are always talking about we're not doing nothing for the kids, hear me, we're doing something for the kids. If you get connected, you'll get it. Give yourselves a big round of applause for that. All right, them claps getting slow. Y'all ate enough? Y'all give them some more water or something. Somebody bring me some water too. And I got 5 minutes left. We gotta roll through it, okay? So we got the City of Baker Recreation Association. That's Gerald Collins. Gerald's been working, he's been working with me for a long time. When he had his day job. And so I always tell him, I say, Gerald, I could get in touch with you sooner when you had your day job, now that you work full time for me. But he's done a job. He's really have. He's built that from where it used to be. He's built it. And now that gym that we had over there, we fought for that gym that Break had from us. That gym belongs to Baker. Now we do our own programming. That's it. We wanted programming that we do in our city. We didn't want programming that everybody else do in their city. We wanted programming that we do in our city, and we got that. And we go from there. And our Blight program. And if you think about our Blight program and what we've done now, we spent a lot of money, Representative Adams, on this Blight program. It goes from, it will take you from identifying to the judge if you don't get it right. Now, it's not perfect, but we did win an award for it with Ellen May. And they told us that the program was excellent. And we just won that award. And that's how it goes. You know, you do the identification. And what's starting to happen is that the code enforcement guys don't have to do everything, because people starting to call now and say, look, can you come over here? Because he ain't cutting his grass, she ain't doing this, and she ain't doing that. I ain't saying they snitching, but they telling. Next slide. And so these are the other supplemental programs that we have. We did the home rehab that we've been helping people. We probably got about 20 homes in that program. We got a clearance grant now that we went out that we're going to be able to condemn, and then we demolish 10 to 15 houses that the city does not have to pay for because we get the grants from the state. Thank you for Roy Adams and all the people who do that for us. And then we received the Brownsfield grant. And that's an environmental grant that we started that we can go out and look at properties that we can come back and clean up and we can put them back in commerce. And then keep Baker beautiful. Keep Baker beautiful. I see Doc in here. Where Doc at? She came back and just took it and took Keep Baker Brook, her and Dr. Vincent, and they took that thing to another level. And so let's give them a big round of applause. So economic development is always going to be the big deal. We're going to keep moving. Next slide. At the Greenwood Park Zoo. This is important for Baker. When they come out of the zoo, I want them to make that right turn and go to Baker. That's what we're doing. That's what we're working with them to do, and that is a big time economic development driver. The park and ride it's just gonna be one of those things where people look at me crazy, but we have almost 10 million cars that come through here. And they always talk about traffic on the highway. We're gonna take some of that off the highway, bring them into this park and ride, and let the buses take them. We're talking about private buses, nice buses that you can ride in and take them down, put the links there, have electric places where you can charge up your cars and all that. We're still working on that. We're still going to move on that. And we're still getting funding. Have these new houses coming in. They told me, say, you can't build no houses if you don't have no schools. Sunshine Gardens said, yes, you can, because they buying them up over there at Sunshine Gardens, okay? And we're going to keep doing this. Next slide. All right, here's the future priorities and programs. Always want to have social services because I'm tired of running behind the landlords and doing that. I'm not certified to do that, so we're working on social services. Our opioid intervention program, Dr. Machen is working that. Workforce development, Dr. Parker is working that. We want veteran services in the city so our veterans don't have to drive way to Baton Rouge to go and get their counseling and get what they need to do. Residential and mixed-use developments, we're going to keep pushing that. And then we have re-entry programs for ex-offenders. If you do not give them a chance, they don't have a chance to do well. We got to give them a chance. Give yourself a round of applause for that. And so the top categories of recruitment, doing economic development, we need hotels. We're working to get hotels. We want sit-down restaurants, and we need something else. We're working on that. Our economic development person, Dante Bidwell, is working on that. We're doing that. We want some grocery stores and we want general merchandise. They don't come just like that. For these people who be saying, why can't you bring businesses in? They just don't come just like that. First of all, you got to spend the money with the businesses that you have now. But here is it. Here is the trademark. Rooftops bring people. Good education bring rooftops and people. And that brings business. So don't let nobody tell you anything else. Okay? That's what it's all about. You get that template going, that's how you build business. And we're working it. Next slide. Okay, so you guys, let's continue to move Baker forward. And if you got any questions, I know we're real short. You got any questions, I'll take a few questions really quick. I want to recognize Representative Roy Adams. Let's give him a big round of applause. Always here. Always here. And I do want to thank Senator Regina Barrow for those 2 economic development districts, her and Representative Barbara Carpenter. I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank all the pastors in the room that we support. We have that pastor program. We do have, where's Michelle? We do have prayer, prayer line every Tuesday morning. You ain't gonna hear a whole lot of mayors say this. We have a prayer line every Tuesday morning in Baker. You can call that line, get connected, okay? Any questions, real quick? If it's negatives, Just wait till we get outside. On serious tip. You got any questions? Any questions? Here's the deal. People always talk about your plan. And I truly believe this. God is in control of this city. And so people who they don't believe it when I tell them that God is leading this city. And we can have all this stuff. Pastor, we all this stuff. We can have all the businesses in the world. But if our hearts ain't right, we don't treat our people right, we're never going to be right. We're never going to grow. And if we don't see that now, that's what it is. But God controls everything. He controls the seasons and the time for everything. So if it's not moving fast enough that you want it to be, then get on your knees and pray, and God will tell you, I got this. We running it. I got him. And so I know I got to stay focused on that. I'm not afraid of that. I'm going to stay focused on where God leads me, but I'm never afraid of what's going to happen in the future. So people say, we're going to vote you out of there. You didn't put me here. I'm not afraid of that. Never going to be afraid of that. I'm going to roll out. When my time to go, I'm going to take my stuff off the wall, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to Miss Linda's house and sit around there and let her make me pass. Look, love y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate y'all.